You're listening to the August 7th, 2022 reading of Blossom Goodchild's channeling with the Federation of Light.
Hello again. Our last conversation regarding the codes sparked off much interest. The week before, you'd spoken about crystals. I was wondering if you could, therefore, talk about the two together.
Welcome, Blossom, to you and naturally all those who find our conversations agreeable and resonate warmly within them. A lovely way to begin, indeed. As discussed, absolutely everything has a code that continuously moves and vibrates.
Can we stop right there? A code vibrates?
Everything vibrates.
Yes, but codes are numbers, equations.
Yet, they must vibrate in order to come into existence.
Yet everything has to have a code to firstly come into existence, doesn't it?
Indeed, Blossom.
Already I'm flummoxed. Seems a bit like the who came first, the chicken or the egg scenario.
So in order to keep this complex matter simple, let us move through that so we may get to where we need to get to.
Let's.
So, naturally, crystals are made up of codes, because everything is. Do we agree on this?
Yes.
Do we agree also that every crystal, as an individual item, has a different code?
Yes.
Good. Let us try to take you deeper. Although each crystal has its own coding, that coding comes within the bracket of crystal coding. In the same way, the human being would come under the bracket of human being coding, even though everyone's coding vibrates differently.
Can any two people, any two crystals, have the same coding?
No. And yet they can vibrate on the same frequency.
Already my head is spinning with questions. This being the case, to go back to last week's conversation, how then can our codes match up with the codes flowing in if no two codes are the same?
Because, although different as one human to another's codes may be, as we said, they can vibrate on within the same frequency. You have to try to wrap your head around the fact that codes are immeasurable, beyond comprehension, ever-changing, ever fine-tuning to that which they are resonating within, upon. So we would say that every code has its ethereal counterpart.
Our Google mate says ethereal. Extremely delicate and light in a way that seems not to be of this world. For those of you unsure. So, when you say no two codes are the same, wait, did you say that? Everything has its double. One in of this world and one not.
Correct.
Wouldn't all codes be of an ethereal nature? They're not physical.
Yet they are of the Earth's vibration.
Not sure if we shouldn't just change the subject. I could get very lost, and so could the reader.
Let us keep going a little longer, Blossom, and we will do our best to let the flow of our words become easier to understand. Let us return to the coding of the crystals. We have spoken before about all crystals, at a given point connecting up to each other. This can only take place through their coding, reaching a certain level of light. In the same way, as we explained to you of the coding within the self, lightening up, heightening, in order to connect and match up with the codes flowing in.
Yet our codes could never match a crystal's codes. Is that right?
Yes. However, although different, they can be within the same recipe.
Shoot me now.
As in, for reference, the ingredients of a cake may be many, all with their own coding. Yet, This does not mean that they cannot be blended together and become a cake.
Yet surely cake ingredients are in the same bracket, like a food bracket perhaps. Apparently human beings and crystals are not.
Although crystal and human codes are indeed in different brackets, as are animals, water, you name it, we shall make the analogy of each bracket being a piece of a jigsaw puzzle. Although very different, when joining together, they make up the whole picture.
Okay, I can follow that. I feel you want to steer back to the crystals, and you have a point to make about that.
That is also correct, Blossom. That point is that you can change the codes of the crystals. By involving them in your lives, you are able to activate them, bring them into their fuller selves, awaken them, so to speak, into the fullness of themselves.
Okay, yet what about those crystals that do not have human contact?
They lie in wait, dormant, to a certain degree, until such time when the already activated crystal codes match their ethereal counterpart and send out the messages to one's waiting, which then triggers them to do what they came to do.
Which is what?
Extraordinary magic.
The word magic took a long time to come through.
We were indeed searching for the appropriate term.
You see, in my head, I'm imagining when you say that, laser beams of light shooting around the planet from different crystals. And each time it reaches another crystal, large or small, it's like a huge spark explodes from it, and then the laser beam continues on, adding the energy from each crystal it connects with. Are you putting that image in my head?
Yes.
You have said this will take place when the wave comes, the event.
Yes.
And forgive my ignorance, but what for? What happens then? What effect do the crystals have on everything? What is their purpose?
Bringing in and activating the very much higher codes that accompany the wave. Do you see, Blossom? Everything that you are here to do is connected to raising the vibration of the planet. As you are realizing now, recognizing now, this power of your light, we are able to offer more understanding of how everything that is upon your earth plane is in conjunction with accomplishing this extraordinary mission. Can you feel how you are aligning your inner knowing now?
Yes, I think I can feel the knowing as opposed to explaining it in words.
That is a knowing of truth, Blossom. As we have always said, it is about the feeling. For the feeling is who you are.
Let me attempt and in a nutshell. Okay. As the light, the love and the truth of our I amness, raise our vibrational frequencies, we're able to internally accept how we're all in this together, crystals and all. In that, we had an arrangement, an agreement before we came that we would do the best we could to discover our truth in order to make friends on a deeper level of understanding with our crystals, for example, so that together we can raise the roof, so to speak, and in doing so, the crystal's energy at a given command will zoom across the planet, connecting up with each other in order to activate the massively higher codes that come in with the wave of love, which in turn changes the vibration of absolutely everything for the better. Now, not sure if that's a nutshell or a bombshell. What Does one need drugs for this before or after this session? I'm concerned that you may have lost many. I feel I've perhaps lost myself. Many had to read the last message over and over to get it. This one needs a university degree in nuttyhood.
You have done exceedingly well, Blossom.
Not so sure. And where to from here? The nutty farm?
Growth and expansion in understanding your power as it lights your way.
And the thing is, and I think many will nod their heads also, I can truly notice this change, this shift in my being. Of late, I've been sent some links to scaremongering possibilities of the future. Yet I just choose for it not to be in my reality. This sort of stuff is what turns me on.
This sort of stuff, Blossom, is what turns on the light of truth, of self. That knowing that we have mentioned over and over.
I can't say I fully know.
Yet you know that you know more now than you did. Yet it is not of knowledge that you know. It is of a knowing. An understanding within the being of moving further into the role one came to perform. As the codes, the frequencies within the vibration lift, one begins to connect the dots. And although none of it may make sense, it all begins to make sense.
Wait, that doesn't make sense. Or does it? Oh, brain blowout. Dear God, you can't make this shit up. I shall have such a laugh reading this back, and if it does make any sense at all, I think I deserve a noddy badge. Are you off now, then?
We feel there is enough to digest for now.
I think many may require some Gaviscon, which is an indigestion tablet. Well, what can I say? Thanks, guys. I just need to sweep my brains up off the floor and I'll be good to go. In gratitude, in loving service, I am. And just to say, it took me about 4 or 5 reads to make any sense of this. Each time it was like starting all over again from the beginning. Many thanks.